I would never make a beat with AI. I don't want to learn new technologies. I'm terrified. Look, I am critical of AI. I'm critical of generative AI, and I think I have good reason to be critical. I always cite my specific reasons, whether it's the court cases or the very clear admissions of copyright theft. But I also understand why generating a random song or a sample using a generative AI platform is fun. It is, especially as a producer. But a lot of producers aren't sure of whether or not these tracks, these samples that they generate using these AI platforms can even legally be used in their productions. And as I've said time and time again, my biggest concern is that several AI companies are being sued right now. And I think there's a strong case against them. They've admitted copyright theft. So sampling songs from those platforms could cause problems in the future. Potentially. I don't know. None of us know. So here's a platform that struck me as different. It's funny too, because I was giving an interview with a PhD student who was talking about generative AI, and he said there are a lot of generative AI platforms that are training their models on licensed music or public domain music, legally. And he's saying they're sounding pretty good. So here's one, Tempoler. I think that's how you pronounce it, Tempolor. Go to the website, right? And it looks like a typical generative AI website. But when I scroll down, right, and they have these frequently asked questions, immediately they say they're about helping content creators, blah, blah, blah. But they also tell you exactly what the legalities are of using whatever you generate on their website. Number one, is the music truly royalty free? And the first, that's all that needs to be said. Yes, very, very clear. Do I have the right to modify AI generated music? Yes. Okay. As a producer, that's what I want to hear. Is AI generated music copyright protected and legally usable? And look, they explain this. This is what I'm saying. This is different. This is the stuff that we've been talking about on the podcast, what I've been talking about in videos. They talk about derivative works, i.e. sampling, making a beat out of something that you create with this site. They talk about providing a certificate of usage rights, so that really helps. And then the final question is, can I use it for free? Yes, you can. I guess you can use watermarked MP3s for free, and then there's a 7-day free trial. So I want to try this out. I want to see how it sounds. I want to see if I can make cool samples with it that I can flip into beats. So if you've ever used generative AI before, this is pretty straightforward. You type in a prompt, you click generate, and something comes out. I'm going to turn vocal off. And what I've found with generative AI platforms is that what I type usually doesn't necessarily mean that's what I'm going to get out. So I'll type dark, sad guitar riff, and then it generates two options. The first one is this. Which I already like. And then the second one sounds like this. I don't know. I feel like both of these sound like samples. They sound like they want me to put hard drums behind them. I kind of like to just type in a prompt and see what I get. And if I get something that I'm not expecting, cool, whatever, I just adapt and I enjoy that. And that's normally what happens. 9 out of 10 times if I type in something, I get something back that I'm not necessarily expecting to get back. I could theoretically regenerate and refine my prompt so that I get something that is more like a sad guitar loop, whatever. And I could get the stems too, but I'm just going to download. I don't need the stems here. I'm just going to download the WAV file, so it's the best quality. I have a drum loop already. So now I get to chop it kind of crudely, but I feel like it has that kind of sampled sound already. And now the fact that I'm chopping is just going to make it sound more like an authentic sample. Gonna add some compression, some fake vinyl. Yeah, that sounds good. Add some bass. So got a bass line here. I'm gonna grab some one shots. I know Darrell Banks has some one shots I like. And of course I need some Rhodes. But I'm gonna add effects to this VST. So if I remove the drums entirely, it just sounds like a cool sample. Yeah, I like that. Okay, now let's turn the vocal on. Oh, I did it wrong. Okay, I'm supposed to go into custom mode. Hold on. A sad, slow, dark, gosh, pop song. I type in some dramatic lyrics. I get to choose all of these voices. So these, as I said, a lot of these AI platforms are like I've used, I'm not going to say their names. I've used other AI platforms and famous singers' voices have come out, but these are actual licensed voices. And so what you'll hear is that a lot of these voices, because they're actually based on ethically sourced data from specific humans and not just stolen from Spotify and all these other copyrighted sources, you're going to receive a lot better quality outputs that sound more realistic. So yeah, let's go with Hazel. Is she new? I don't know. Let's see what Hazel sounds like. Vocal on.
I've been drowning in the silence. My pulse echoes like a drum. I treat my heart like an island, but I'm not the only one.
I actually manipulated the vocals quite a bit. I put a lot of stuff on them, a lot of effects. And I'm not going to use it as a hook. I'm going to treat it like an instrument. This is what I came up with. Because that part B just is really catchy. And then I figured out the chord progression and played some Rhodes underneath it to give it a more elegant sound. And then I add some guitar too. And then there's a drum reference here. This is what it could sound like with drums. So this could just be an instrumental track. It could be a beat for an artist. I don't know. So I wanted to try another voice. So I went with Aaliyah. I like the results.
I've been drowning in the silence. My pulse echoes like a drum. I've treated my heart like an island, and I'm not the only one. The shadows linger in the twilight.
Oh, did you see what they did? So they they said, fuck my lyrics. They started writing their own lyrics. The robots are getting smarter.
Whispers lost within the breeze.
With harmonies. Okay, then it just filled in the space. Okay, that's terrifying that it knows how to do that. It treated this more as a verse and then this as a hook. And so it had to fill in the additional 8 bars. So did what it did. Downloaded the stems, and I forgot to mention all the stems are actually in FLAC format, which is the highest quality audio, so that's a bonus.
I've been drowning in the silence.
I like the vocals more than I like what the AI came up with for instrumentation. Let's go on splicing.
I've been drowning in the silence. My pulse echoes like a drum. Who are all fighting? Who are all fighting war?
All right, you get to hear this idea super raw, completely unmixed, but I like where it's going. So I got this this splice loop, and then I built additional instrumentation around it, drums, everything. So this is what it sounds like.
I've been drowning in the silence. My pulse echoes like a drum. I've treated my heart like an island, and I'm not the only one. We're fighting wars. Oh, who knows what we're fighting for?
So try it out. TEMPOLOR.com is the website. I'm gonna drop a link below. You can get 20% off if you do want to purchase the membership that I was using in this video, where I had unlimited usage and I had the stems downloads option. Also, you can use it as a free 7-day trial. Just use the same links below. Yo, this company's brave. Shout out to Templar, because they've seen the content I've made about AI before, and they weren't afraid to allow me to make a video because they knew exactly how I was going to use their platform. I'm just going to recommend and run through technologies that I like Templar that to me don't strike me as these unethical AI companies, and it's hard to find in the generative AI space. When I find something like that, I'm going to share it. Appreciate you tuning in. Enjoy working with new emerging technologies. That could be anything from brand new plugins to new DAWs to generative AI. Appreciate you watching. Peace.